So how is it?
Oh, we start?
Yeah, this is it. We're gonna play the PLO TV table 5-5.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, let's go.
We're live already in the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What was it myself?
Are you excited about playing on TV table?
I am very excited about playing a lot of Swedes.
Yeah, because now we're gonna actually meet brute force in poker. We are pretty competent players, not like the other day when you played
Now it's serious game. Cash game. The best game. So much more fun. Didn't go tournaments are very fun. But then I play for honor. Cash game is play for winning money.
and putting people in the
Yeah.
Alright, have a seat. Seat one.
Oh, the seat one is there?
That's it.
Okay.
Let's go and get the next guy.
Good luck.
Frankie is me.
Ah, it's a live stream. I have
So, Frank, yeah. Yes. Here you are again. Yeah. And then again, and again, and again. So, we're not going to talk about the festival series and shit, stuff like that now, because that's for another day. I heard a rumor that you were going to Amsterdam.
With my best friend Maurits, who said, Frank, now we go to Amsterdam and kill it.
Yes, I agree. I actually said that. When are we leaving? And coming home to Sweden for Estonia
Saturday, Friday.
Okay, take your seat.
And also, included in that package is a shared twin room with Frank. We call it the Dansken Madonna experience. I love this. I haven't done laundry yet.
Seat 3.
best.
That's me, right?
Excited.
No, I'm seat 3, you're seat 4. Mao, wise guy, seat 4.
Hey, where's it too? Ah, we can just get rid of share. Yes, you got one.
Yes, how much?
Oh, I think 300 this.
Frankie, kan jag få listan?
To the right, there, computer.
Okay.
Hade jag 3 eller 4?
Är det 300?
Vem är inte här? 3.
300 Frankie. Save? Ja!
Välkommen.
Tackar.
Har du bara inlett? Ja, det här är maximum.
Oh, now it's 2-2.
Ja,
I think
2-2 Oma.
Yeah, no max.
no max.
No max.
Minimum is, I think, 1.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, I think that's an including numbers.
The bike.
Where are you from?
Foreman is coming.
Ah, what's the name?
Jacob.
Jacob, hi, Ylva. You look like a professional player with your outfit and sporty outfits. Okay, you're definitely not actually.
Very recreational.
300. I have a system.
Aha, super system.
And I was over 300. In Norway, we play 1-2. But it doesn't matter what they call it. They call old school like 1-2. So like 300. You hopper? So you're 20 minutes late.
Det är 2 som ska vara tom.
2 är tom. Men jag vill gärna sitta där.
Ja.
Jag har ju jag är markerat här.
I think the secret is funny because I have this crazy Swede to my left and this Spanish guy to my right.
I'm tight.
Tight is right. Tight is very right in the English game.
Yeah, 200.
Because people will shove it all in and all right.
Always.
Tight is super right.
Shake min mind för 300. Take your mind.
But what do you do when you have this next draw within 2.5 hours and you fill it up with all the other ratings? How can
but you can read by here.
Ja, men center.
Center, vi löser det vi löser.
This is really making it.
Det är ganska enkelt att ruta en hand här och köra.
Är det klart? Är det riktigt? Så det är service? Så det är riktigt Sakapa? Ja! Så där ja, vi fick Anders och inte han Fitten. So we have Norway, Danish, Sweet, Paris is sweet, and Spain. Service, please. Can we get one beer and one Sakapa for me? And for him? And for that one. Yes, because we haven't tried Sakapa and you have to try it. It's very good. Maybe some still water actually? Yeah, the Sakapa is good. It was easier than birthday to drink Sakapa. We're gonna drink for free, so let's survive as long as we can on this tournament. So we drink for free and I'll do that. Fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we race really hard and we're so good. Så har vi hemma.
This thing about football shirts. That's a sad choice. Hello.
So it's actually one Danish guy and a Finnish guy each.
Yeah.
No, it's not Swedish. It's one from Estonia. And we cap the rate on 50.
1 million.
Du like
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. My name is JJ Hazan and I'm here at, just adjusting the camera, I'm here at Casino Banco in Bratislava. Wonderful place. We're coming towards the end of the festival, which has been a great success. Main event hit the mark with a 300k guaranteed. First place took 47k. Fantastic event. We have many side events and also some wonderful Chinese poker competitions in all sorts of other areas like roulette, all games I don't understand. I'm just a poker player, a simple poker player. So here we are at the PLO live stream. We've got a fantastic lineup. This is going live on Twitch and Facebook as we speak. I'll give you the lineup. In seat 1 we've got Ylva, who is a Norwegian Korean player. I had the pleasure of sitting next to her for most of the day 2 days ago in one of the side events. In seat 2 we've got Franka. Franka is actually called Martin, but his middle name is Frankie or Franka, which he likes. He's the mastermind of the festival that was meant to be in Tallinn in June and has now commenced here in Casino Banco. Then we've got Wise Guy on seat 3. For those that have been watching, he's been doing the live reporting every day from the main event. We have Moritz, who's the other mastermind. He's in seat 4, 5 even. Oh, there's an interesting numbering here. Seat 4, Wise Guy, and seat 5, Moritz. So Moritz is the kind of tournament poker director side of the festival and has worked closely with Casino Banco and Franca to make a fantastic event. We then have Svein in 6, Jacob in 7, Morg, I've been told, in 8, and someone else who isn't in 9. Oh, Franca's very excited, as we can see. So they're now just getting their chips, getting ready to start this 2-2 PLO. Now for those that don't know, PLO stands for Pot Limit Omaha. It's a game I play a lot of and love it. Won a few tournaments in PLO, and I've been playing cash here when I can, against, in fact, some of these players. So basically, you are dealt 4 cards, and we will also have 5 cards. I'll come on to that. You're dealt 4 cards, and you can only and must use 2 of those cards. So we have 2 cards from your hand and 3 cards from the board, and that makes your best Omaha hand. So it's unlike Texas Hold'em, where you can use 0, 1 or both of your cards. There are strict rules on Omaha. You must use 2 from your hand and 3 from the board. It's pot limit, so the maximum bet or raise is how much it is in the pot. So if the pot has 100 euros in, the most anyone can bet is 100 euros, and the next person could call that 100 euros and raise another 300, which will be the size of the pot when it comes to him or her. We've got an interesting side bet going on. We've got some Norwegians and some Swedes playing, roughly 4 each, and a rogue Dane. So that rogue Dane, I believe, is Jacob, who's in seat 7. So Jacob's in 7. He's the only Swede. He's the guy with the white hat and the red Danish, maybe, football top. So the little side bet is whether Norway or Sweden will win the most big blinds. Rather an odd side bet. No idea really what it means. So we'll move on. So here comes Moritz looking to get into his seat. It looks like we're nearly ready to go. So we're going to start with 7 players. Ilva, seat 1. Franka, seat 2. Wise Guy, seat 3. Moritz in seat 4. Svein in seat 5. Jacob in seat 6. And Morg in seat 7. Most of them have started with 200 or 300 euros, which is the kind of minimum you'd start on a 2 euro PLO. Morg has made a decision to start with 600 euros, so he's got a bigger stack than the others. It shouldn't make much difference at the 2 level. 200 is more than enough to play with. Obviously 200 euros, if the blinds are 2 is 100 big blinds. So you tend to find, though, in these cash games you get 2 5, so you'll get a straddle of 5. That straddle could be next to the big blind or on the button, which is called a Mississippi straddle. That does change quite a lot. I played a few sessions already, as I said, and the Mississippi straddle was quite popular. So that changes the dynamic. It's played in America a lot, not played in the UK at all. That's something to look out for. So David, the cash director from Casino Banco, is just explaining to everyone, making sure they all know the rules and what to do and not. Oh, here comes some beers. It's the important bit. We've got some lovely waiting staff in the casino, and they've been serving the many people we've had during the festival, all the Scandies and the Germans and a few Brits, and what else we had? Macedonians, obviously Bratislavans, some Czech players, Germans. Real lovely mix of Europe. Even though me in the UK is officially out of Europe, I certainly don't feel I am in my heart. So I'm really happy to be here amidst such a wonderful group of players from around Europe. I even had an Australian on my table last night, which was quite interesting. He lives in Monaco, though, so he must be very rich, because you need to be very rich to live in Monaco. So hopefully we're going to start soon. Please get any questions in on Twitch or on Facebook. I'll do my best to answer them or commentate on them if I can find Twitch. I'm very old. Where is my Twitch? Said the actress to the bishop. Twitch. I have no idea where my Twitch is. Right, I'm going to find it and go Twitch, open. Okay, we've got 39 viewers on Twitch. Welcome everyone. Do put any questions in or comments. If I say something and you think it's a load of rubbish, very happy to get criticism or constructive thoughts on my comments. My comments obviously are objective. I'm a PLO player, so I do know the game pretty well, and I'll be as honest and objective as I can. I have no axe to grind, nothing's personal. It's always about how someone has played a hand or the position they're in, or making difficult choices around what you should do, as we all face that when we play. So I'm really looking forward to this. We've got 7 players ready to go. The technical staff, there's a lot of laughter behind me. Most of that's coming from Ilva in seat 1. And any swearing you might hear is definitely down to Franca in seat 2. So Jacob, we've got a comment already from Henrik. Jacob the Fish Diderickson, back on your screen. He must be the donkey of the game. Well, I can't comment on that because I haven't seen a hand played yet, but I think there's more than one donkey on this table. I know, I've put it out there, folks. I'm pushing the line. The envelope has been opened. Donkey alert is all I can say at this point. Cash director David is laughing at that one. I think he seems to agree with me. So thank you very much for that, Henrik. Look forward to any other comments you make. So here we go. We're going to have our first hand dealt. We're going to have a round of each. We're going to start with 4 cards, and then we're going to go to 5 cards. So every round we're going to have 4 cards, and then the next round 5 cards. There is quite a big difference between 4 cards and 5 cards in terms of the range that you arguably should be playing. Looks like we got 5 cards here. That's interesting. Okay, we have 5 cards. Okay, I thought we were starting with 4. How to mess up the commentator in one easy lesson. Okay, we got 5 cards. Frankie actually has a lovely hand here, except he does have 4 hearts, but he has ace, king, queen, 5, 6, 2 connected flops, but 4 hearts is far too many in a 5-card hand. Svein, interesting rundown, 5, 6, 6, 8, but that ace doesn't help him very much, so he's right to fold there. And now Jacob the Donkey, according to Henrik, Jacob the Donkey actually has quite a nice hand. 8, 7, 10, 10 king, double suited with a rundown. That's 3 cards that are connected. So we've got a nice relaxing start. Frankie raised to €5 and Jacob called. So we've got 2 players in the pot. We're going to see a flop in any moment. So looks like we did see a flop of ace, jack, jack. And Frankie, I couldn't actually see, but I'm guessing he bet that pot and took it down. Jacob missed that flop in a spectacular way. Got a message from Knut Andre 85 that Jeva Kim, I don't know who Jeva Kim is, got her on stream and play PLO tournament on iPoker every Tuesday. Is that Ilva in seat 1? That would be useful to know, mate. Please tell me. Thank you. So we are starting with 5 cards, not 4, as I was told earlier. Thank you, Nut. Okay, yeah, I played Texas Hold'em with her pretty well for 5-6 hours a couple of days ago as part of one of the side events. She's very talkative and I knew she has a stream of some kind. So that's nice that you play with her on iPoker. Yep, got it, mate. Ilva is her name, the girl lady in seat 1. She's the only girl lady in this stream, actually. So here we go. We've got some hands coming out now. Moritz has got King Queen 7-5-3. Now in 5 cards, it's not a great hand, this one. It's not suited, it's not connected, doesn't really work, and Moritz has decided to raise with it. It's not a hand I would raise with. Arguably I'd be folding even €5, because if you hit, you're pretty well going to be behind. So we've got 4 players to the flop. We've got an ace 9-10. Wise Guy's hit all 3 with a straight draw. That's looking pretty good. It's a rainbow board, so the flushes are not counting yet. We've got not a lot elsewhere, really. So the best hand by far is Wise Guy, but Frankie, being Frankie, bets out. Now Wise Guy here really should be raising. This is an absolutely raising position, and of course he just calls and doesn't raise. That is almost a PLO sin. So he's now got 7, 9, 10. So he has made... No, he hasn't made his flush. In fact, Mora has made a flush and has the straight flush draw, or Mora, I think he is here. So he has absolutely taken this board. He's got the made straight, the upper straight, and the straight flush draw. Moritz has got a gut shot. I can't see him carrying on. Wise Guy, I could see Wise Guy playing this one. He's got 4 pairs, all 4 pairs. He's now raised. Now his big mistake, in my humble opinion, was not to raise on the flop. If he raises on the flop, he might have taken Mora out of the picture and not allowed him to hit his straight. He was very strong on the flop. So now we have a made straight with a flush draw against 4 pairs. Mora is 22%, but interestingly Wise Guy is 78%. I'm not sure that's correct. I don't know where they've come from, those figures. I can't see that Wise Guy is 80% favourite. That makes no sense to me at all. As it turns out, he has hit the full house with the ace and 10. They ran it twice. He hit the full house on the first one, and on the second one looks like Mora has this. Oh, he hasn't got the straight. My bad. He didn't have the straight at all. I thought he had an 8. Sorry, it's quite hard to see the figures here. I take it all back. Jacob played it perfectly and won the hand. Well played, mate. And that call on the flop could have been actually a very good play. I still like the raise there, but that call on the flop allowed someone else to come in and maybe made hit the pot even bigger. So take it all back. Very well played, Jacob. So the man who called him a fish, Henrik, I think your fish is doing very well, or your donkey. Someone said I need better glasses. You're absolutely right, but it's actually quite hard to see the cards they've got on the screen I've got in front of me, which doesn't help commentating very much, but I take that on board, Kimai. Thank you. Okay, we've got the next hand being dealt. So Jacob elected to call with a pretty good hand. Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 1 suit, but a nice run down at the top. We've got a call from Mora with quite a wide-ranging hand. 3, 5, 7, King, Queen, only 1 suit. Again, Frank Pretty poor hand there, 4 hearts and a 2-3-4, and he's a very specific flop. And Wise Guy, King Jack 9-6-6, double suited. Not a bad hand, but again needs to hit. So the best looking hand at the moment is Jacob, but it was Moritz with his 8-8-9-10 with a rogue 3 who elected to raise. He's had a 3-bet from Frankie, who doesn't understand the folding mechanism in any game. I think this is a personal grudge match, guys, between the two of them. The chips are flying in left, right and centre. Ace, 7, ace. The only one with an ace is Jacob, who had the best hand pre-flop. However, 4, 5, 7. Does that make a does that make a straight anywhere? 4, 5, 7. Yeah. The 2-3 makes a dubious ace 2, 3, 4, 5. The wheel straight for Franca. So he raised pre-flop, or re-raised as well, and gets paid with a pretty rubbish hand to start with. Now Frankie is now up to €763. Wise Guy with that previous pot on 677. The rest have lost a bit. No. Frankie's working hard, counting his chips. He started with €200, the minimum buy-in for this game, and has trebled up already, so good position. He's known as a high roller, risk-taking poker player, and you saw that where he raises with a pretty poor hand, and runner gets there, which is one of the things in cash. You don't see that a lot in tournaments, but you do see that a lot more in cash, where people will gamble a lot more early on and try and maximize their returns. Okay, we've got some action happening. Cards are dealt out, 5 cards each. Again, only 2 count. We've got a raise by Svein this time. I think it's his first raise. Ace, King, Jack, 5-4, 1 suit. Mora has called with a interesting rundown. 7, 9, 10 Jack. That can play pretty well in 5-card Omaha, because it covers a lot of the board. You can get the upper straight as well as the middle one. And Franca, who doesn't fold, with Queen 10, 9, 6, 2. And some nice looking hands out there depending on the flop, which we have an Ace, 9, 8. So that Mora has hit pretty well. He's up and down, but with no diamonds. Wise Guy has the diamonds, so he has the nut flush diamonds draw, but at the moment only 2 pairs, Ace, 8. So there's something for almost everyone on this board. We've seen a bet of 25. Franca has raised to 50, being his want. He has a gut shot draw and straight flush draw, which does give him a fair amount of equity, but of course Wise Guy has the nut flush draw with the ace. So Franca, to get his straight flush draw, needs to hit one specific card, the 7 of diamonds. Any other diamond will give it to Wise Guy. Mora has decided that his hand is too strong. He's got 2 pairs, ace 8. Sorry, Mora has got the straight draw. And it's a diamond, and Wise Guy, who everyone was slightly rude to earlier, has made another big pot. Fantastic return. He had the 2 pairs, he was winning on the flop, and he had the flush draw. Mora, looks like Mora's already giving up his seat. He's probably going for a little break before he reloads. He did start with 600 euros, so he's had a pretty bad run in the first few hands. Wise Guy is up massively now to over 1,000 euros. He's on 1.1, 570 big blinds. Franca, with his runner straight, is on 700, and the rest are on their starting stacks or just below. So we've only got 6 players while Mora goes to the cash desk to reload, I think. I'm sure he'll be back. So we've now got 6 players. The amount of players you have on a table in PLO is very significant, because the range of cards you decide to play can make a big difference in terms of how many players are on the table. The fewer players you have, the wider the range you may feel comfortable in playing. It's just very simple maths. If you've got 8 players on the table, the cards are more spread out. 5 players on the table, and there's less good hands around. So Franca is doing his customary raise with a 3-4-6 King Jack, 2 suits. Wise Guy will 100% be calling here. Oh, he folded. My bad. So Moritz now with a 4-5-8-9 Jack. Slight rundown there with the 6-7 missing. Not a bad hand in Omaha. 5 cards. And Svein has the bullets, the aces, and the 1 suit. He has hearts. So he's decided to 3-bet with his aces to 40 euros. Franco doesn't fold for anyone. He's calling. And Moritz also doesn't seem to fold either. So he's called as well. Let's see what flop we get. So the ace is our favourite in this hand, but not unless they hit. We've now had a flop of Queen 10-8 to spades. Franca has the up and down straight draw with the King Jack, and the spade draw, the second nut flush. Moritz, who is the first to play, actually has the made hand at the moment. He has the Jack 9, he has the made straight, but there are spades there. So obviously his bet will depend on how the others respond to what they see. Svein doesn't like it, so his aces are now no good. I can't see Franca folding. He doesn't really fold. He has the up and down and the second nut flush draw. It's a good hand with this board. Moritz is all in anyway for 150. Franca has called, I believe. Yep, they're now showing their cards. And we have an 8 and a 10 completing the board. So Franca missed his draws. He had a lot of cards to hit. And Moritz wins a pot. Well done, Moritz. So we have a new player who's joined on seat 8. The graphics haven't caught up yet. Oh no, we don't. He's the cameraman. We have a cameraman on seat 8. Let's hope he doesn't lose too much money. He's one of the only people paid here. I thought he sat down. Okay, Ilva is playing very solidly. I don't think she's played a pot yet. We now see 4 diamonds in one hand, and not a particularly good one. And unlike Franca, who would raise with this hand, Ilva quite rightly folds. Franca looks down and sees a pair. I'm pretty sure that won't stop him raising. He's got only 1 flush draw. What a surprise. Raised to 20 euros. Wise guy, 10, 9, 9, 4, 3, 1 suit. Not a great hand. Has elected to fold. Moritz actually does have a pretty good starting hand. His options here are definitely a call or a raise. I prefer the raise with an ace, king, queen, jack rundown. And he has 3-bet to 70 euros. Well done, Moritz. Jacob's folding. Mora's interested. He's got a suited ace, but a 7, 8, 9 rundown. Can't see Franca folding anything, like I said earlier. So, although he's got much the worst hand before we see the flop, he's a 16% favourite. The other two are about 40% each, which is a fair summation. But not only does Frankie go to Hollywood, Frankie seems to get there. So we'll see what the flop is. I could see a queen on the flop quite easily here. And no, 10-3-6. That's a flop that hasn't really hit anyone. So the upper run of Moritz has not hit it at all. Mora probably has the more interesting hand. 7, 8, 9 gives him the middle draw to the 6, 10. So he's the one who's probably going to check raise. Frankie has followed through his action. I'd be very surprised if Mora doesn't check raise here, or minimum call. He's got the middle straight on a 6, 10. There's nothing to be scared of. It's no rainbow. The most Frankie could have would be a top set. I don't think he should fear that particular player. Certain players I would consider have the set here. Franca definitely not. If Mora folds this, oh no. Okay. If you fold that hand against the most aggressive player on the table, I think you should look for an accountancy job. That's poor play in the face of aggression, and from a loose player like Frankie. Frankie played well, gave it the maximum aggression, technically was winning with the queens, but had nowhere else to go. And Mora had 3 middle cards to make the straight. There's no other draw there at all, so I don't understand the fold. I'd be very happy with that board, and I'd be putting my chips in, especially against Franca. Again, nothing personal, just literally commenting on the way he plays the Omaha that I'm seeing in front of me. We've got 50 viewers on Twitch. Welcome everyone. Do make any comments about either the play or the hands that you see. Very happy to get feedback on maybe some of the players that you know. We've already had one who plays weekly with Ilva. We've had comments that Jacob's a fish, although Jacob played 2 hands very well and is up 1.1 million. So he's quite a well-off fish at the moment. Okay, we've got some hands dealt now. We've had the customary raise by Franco with a Queen Jack 752 board. Mora's called this time with actually quite a weak hand, but and Ilva has also called, and she has 3 8s in her hand. Although the 7 8 Jack work together, the 3 8s are really poor in Omaha. As it happens, she's hit a pretty impressive flop. She's up and down with a 7-8 and has a flush draw. No one else happens to have a flush draw. Mora this time is betting. No, he's calling. So Frankie bet, and he has two pairs on board, the 5 and the 2. So now the flush is made by Ilva. In fact, she's even got a straight flush draw. She's got the 8 jack. So the 7 of hearts would give her a straight flush. Franca is betting. Ilva is deliberately letting the aggressive players make the move. Again, if she folds a jack high flush against Franca here, she's going outside of the line. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my days. Okay, I know I can see the cards, but surely the whole table knows that Frankie is the most aggressive player on the table. He will bet with anything or nothing, and you have to hold your nerve. So you may only have the 3rd nut flush, the jack high, the queen, the... is... Well, he's running the table. He's running over the table with his aggressive raises and re-raises. And that's a great play in Omaha. It gets you a lot of profit, but it's up there. There must be a prop bet going on. There will be a beer. But if you're going to play this game, you really have to sort out who the players are that will have the nuts and who the players are that are just aggressive for the sake of it in an attempt to win the pot. So I think we've seen 2 poor folds here, by Mora and by Ilva. When they see this back, they will slap their own bottoms. Oh, we had a comment from Yo-Yo who said the sound is gone, and then he said the sound is back. Thank you, sound man. How many rebuys are the players allowed to make? There's no limit in any cash game. So Mora bought in again, even though he started with 600 euros. There is absolutely no limit to how many times a player can buy in again in any cash game. So thanks for that question, Yo-Yo. Okay, we've got a flop of King 2-3, 2 hearts. Svein has hit this massively with the top set of kings. We have heart draws with Moritz and with Mora, both medium draws though. One's a 10 high draw and one's an 8 high draw. Franca hasn't hit anything, but that doesn't stop him usually calling or raising. So Svein has backed up his set of kings with the bet. Moritz has to decide whether or not his flush draw is any good. He has no other draws, so he literally has the 10 high flush draw. The way Svein has been playing, he's been playing fairly solid. So I'm quite surprised for Moritz to make the call. He's making the call to see the turn. If a heart comes, that may slow down Svein. Svein now has the nuts, or the second nuts, with the full house of kings over 2s. It'll be interesting to see how he bets here. In fact, he very cleverly checked. So he's checked the best hand, hoping to induce a bet by Moritz or get a call on the end. Now Moritz hasn't really improved. Svein has now bet the river, so he deliberately showed weakness on the turn, bet the river, but because Moritz didn't hit his flush, Svein's very, very happy. First Norwegian to win a hand, probably. And Moritz is putting his knife in. So the best hand held up there. Happy O Poker. who must have watched the other stream that I commentated on, is Moritz donating money again. Moritz did win a hand earlier, so I think he's technically up a little bit, but donated a little bit earlier. Here we go. So that was a very nice pot for Svein there. Svein, I believe, is the Coolbet representative. I met him in Tallinn last week, where Coolbet was sponsoring quite a lot of the festivals, and he's here representing both Coolbet and Norway. So we're now switching to 4-card Omaha. Rules are the same. You can only count 2 in your hand with 3 on the board. Very specific Omaha. I hear a lot of booms behind me. I think that is 20 minutes behind, so we'll find out what that's all about in 20 minutes time. So Moritz has made a raise with a double-suited connected hand. Not a bad hand in 4 cards. Frankie has called with a very interesting middle connected hand, Queen 9-8-8. He's hit his queen. There are 2 spades on board though, and Moritz has the nut flush in spades. So this could be played in a variety of ways. Wise Guy's the only one who isn't in a great position. He's only got a gut shot draw, but that doesn't stop him. Moritz bet 15 and Wise Guy called. We now have King, King, Queen. So Moritz bet 20 and Wise Guy immediately folded. He didn't like seeing the board paired. That's the advantage of betting first, which Moritz did. So although he only had the flush draw, he's playing it strong. Wise Guy feels that he's got at least 2 pairs or a full house there, and made a reasonable fold, because even if he'd have hit his nut flush draw, then he wouldn't really know where he was, as the board had paired. So there was a possible full house on board, and he made a sensible decision to fold.
That hurt. Okay, sorry.
Nobody has stolen your bag. Oh, I don't want a biscuit. Someone is trying to bribe me with biscuits. They've obviously looked at my figure and thought, this man wants biscuits. What are they?
Really good.
Oh, no, actually, these are really nice. They're nutty wafers. So I'm going for it, people. Okay, we've got some cards out there. We've got some interesting cards out there. We've got pair of kings with a 9-4, jacks 9-3, queen 3-3-2, 1 suit, and an ace king 10-2 with Wise Guy. So, oh, this is nice. That was a present from Dana Emmanuel, who's been blogging this whole festival. She's a friend from England, and I've known her a long time. Plays in a band as well. Okay, what we got? 4, 5, 9. So we've got an interesting flop here, in that we've got a 7-8 gut shot for Moritz. We've got an over pair for Svein. Wise Guy's hit very little. But the 2-3 of Franca, who's been the more aggressive player on the table, has hit an up and down draw with a 4-5. Again, this board is a rainbow board, so there's very little danger. People are unlikely to have sets here, They certainly, high cards aren't that relevant. So Franco actually is in a very good position with his 2-3. He can bet with the better hand. Now Mora has also spotted, if you like, a non-dangerous board, and with his kings and his 9-4, he's got 2 pairs and an overpair. He's going, well, if anyone's got a draw, I'm going to make you pay. He has made a lovely raise to 110. Frankie, being Frankie, doesn't go anywhere, and he calls. We now have 2, 4, 5 and 2 diamonds. So Frankie still has the up and down, and although he's hit the 2, it's not very relevant. So the kings and the 9-4 are still well ahead. They both have about 600 euros in front of them. The pot is 300, so this will be interesting to see how much Mora decides to bet. So Frankie has made a silly bet of 10 euros, but weirdly that has worked because Mora just called. Now Mora has the relative nuts. He has a full house of 9-4, and as long as no one has 9s in their hands, so he has the second nuts house. Frankie has missed his think we will see him calling much. I doubt, if he's got any sense at all, he won't be bluffing into this. Mora has gone all the way so far. Frankie knows he won't have done that with nothing. The board has paired with the 4s, so even if Mora didn't have the full house, any overpair is likely to be winning here. So Mora is following through with a strong bet of 165 into over 300, so it's a 50% bet. The only option Frankie has here, he can't call it. He could try and represent a full house, but if he's got any sense at all, he will fold. If he pushes and raises, which is one of the options you have here, I cannot see Mora folding, even though he made a pretty tight fold early on. So Frankie's giving it some time, giving it some Hollywood. Mora's looking quite confident. Frankie needs to pick up on that. I don't know if Frankie called or not. I'll soon see when the figures come in. I can't believe he called with literally 2 pairs, 4s and 3s. So I'm assuming... No, okay, what we've got here, thank you. Mora has shown 2 of his cards. I don't know which ones, I can't see. To induce Frankie to do something. Frankie has folded. So the card, I think Mora may well have shown his kings, even though he had the full house. I really don't know. Bit of fun there with heads up play. In tournament poker, it's a no-no, not allowed to show you cards. Cash tends to be a bit more liberal, a bit more fun, lots of teasing, especially when you have friends on the table. We've got a few people watching on Facebook as well. Bernadette, who's a lovely American lady who I had the pleasure of meeting in the Irish Open 3 years ago, who photo-bombed the seniors event that I happened to win with great style, if I may say. My wife is also watching, which is nice. And Ewan Hardy, There's an old friend up in Edinburgh, in Scotland, is watching. We've also been joined by Luke Oliver, who's a good young player from Britain. So we've got a few people on Facebook as well as Twitch. Let's have a little look at Twitch. So we've got about 45 viewers on Twitch as well. So around about 50 in total. Hope you're enjoying this coverage. And PLO 2-2 stream from Banco Casino in Bratislava. This is all part of TheFestival. You'll see the sign behind Moritz's head, and there it is, the festival stream. This has been created by Frankie, who's in seat 2 but plays his cards in box 3, and Moritz, both on the table. And I know they're looking to expand the festival concept to other countries. Be great if it comes to the UK. Been a really good festival, awful lot of wonderful events and mixed events and different kind of casino games in tournament format. Okay, we've got a flop. 2 diamonds, Queen 10-9. Now this flop, without even knowing people's hands, is a very dangerous flop in Omaha. It can hit so many hands. And if we look, Ilva has hit the top 2 with a jack for the straight draw. Svein has just the jack. So he has a what's called a double gut shot. So he can hit a king or an 8 for a straight. He chose to fold. Interesting. He doesn't have a diamond. So we now have an 8. So diamonds have hit. Wise guy. Not only did he have the queen jack, and so in fact he's even hit a straight. He's also hit the flush. Ilva has the straight. So we've got a flush against a straight. Ilva is no nonsense. She's raised, called an all-in bet. I don't think she even saw the flush. Wise guy is smiling enigmatically to himself. And Ilva somehow hit her full house with a queen 10. So Wise guy was absolutely in command of that on the turn. He had the made flush with the straight and straight blockers. Ilva had the straight with the 2 pairs, but because the board paired on the river, Ilva has taken down a very nice pot. Now to be fair, Ilva's hardly played a hand. She hits a board fairly strongly compared to other hands and has been paid. Wise guy pretty unlucky there, hit his flush, had the straight and got rivered. We've all been there. And if we look at the aggression, Frankie 90%, that's a huge aggression rate in any cash game. So no surprise there. He's not in his seat at the moment.
And she's laughing.
I'm laughing out of your pain.
I'm crying inside. I'm crying.
So on the round with everyone getting 4 cards, 4 card PLO. Jacob's got a nice hand, king, king, queen 4. I'm sure he's going to raise here. He has, he's raised to 8. Ilva folds. Frankie's not in. We've got a call from Wise Guy with a, yeah, not a bad hand. Double suited hand, king 10, 2-2. That can play well. Plus he's got a blocker to Mora's kings. Svein, 5-5, 8-9. And Moritz actually has a very nice hand here, ace, 10, 10, 8. Unfortunately, no flushes. So this is a very flop dependent game, Omaha. You cannot win until you see a flop. Mora has hit that 4, so his what's called dangler, he's got the king, king, queen with a dangler 4, has hit a magic flop, 4, 4, 6. So how is he going to play this? So Mora, who has shown weakness in this game, he's made a couple of folds I felt he could have played it different, is in big command of this. Svein is making a bet because he has the flush draw and 2 pairs. He also had a pair of 5s for the blockers. So he blocks the straight with a pair of 5s. So he's feeling confident. It's not a massively strong bet. Mora, with his 4, has re-raised. The reason he's re-raised here, or raised, is because there is a flush on board. There is a possible straight now. Like I said before, Svein has the blockers. Mora still has the best hand at the moment with the 3 4s. I'm sure he's going to try and protect it. He is. He's bet 200. So he's bet pretty well the pot. And Svein, I'm pretty sure, is going to fold here. No, he's all in. My bad. Oh, wow. He has got there with the flush. Yeah, I'm good at this. Predicting exactly what someone's going to do. I say fold, they call. I say he'll lose the pot, they win the pot. Marvellous. So, some wise guys well ahead with his 850 euros, but he was on 1.1. Mora has now come back in the game with 656, but he did start with a big stack and lost that in the first few hands. Had a comment from Nukt Andre, I guess it's Norwegian, saying Norwegian's doing well now. Well, yep, they are. Definitely coming back into the game. I don't like to be too territorial or country-based. Each player is an individual and should be treated as such. Ilva, nice little starting hand of ace, king, queen, 9. It's connected, it's high. No flush though again. And I do always worry about a hand that has no flush draw, even with 4 high cards. Franca doesn't fold, as I mentioned earlier. He's got a king, 7, 7, 4. Very flop dependent hand. Needs to see a 7, potentially a flush draw. Wise guy has a very good starting hand. Ace, queen, queen, 7. Well, very good compared to everyone else's. Moritz, 9, 6, 5, 4. Now, it's an interesting hand, 9, 6, 5, 4. It's connected across the middle. We've got a flop of 8, 9, 10 and 2 hearts. Jacob has the second hearts, nut flush draw. We have top set with Svein. And we also have the third flush draw with Wise Guy. This could get expensive, people. Svein has bet his top set, but it's a massively connected board. There's 2 hearts, there's an 8, 9, 10. So a king, queen has already got the winning hand. It's a very rich board, as we call it. So it's gone a bit mental already. Mora has raised with his straight draw. I can't see Svein folding his top set here. So we've now got 340 in the pot. Mora is following through. He's playing this hand very, very strong. And considering he actually doesn't have anything at the moment, it's an interesting line. Svein has folded his top set. So Mora's aggression on representing the queen jack. He has the 2 jacks, so he knows there's not many jacks out there. He was making a play as though he had the nut straight, and that got through, so that was very, very good play by Mora. Persuaded Svein, who had top set, that his made hand was winning, and Svein folded. So very good aggressive play. We've seen great aggression from Franca, and we've seen Mora now showing his aggressive side, and both win with that. Arguably Ilva also won with her aggression earlier, when she spiked a full house. I've got another hand, ace queen 8-8 for Moritz. Franca has raised with a king queen 4-3. I love his raises. He has absolute donkey hands. And there he is. I'll raise. I'll find a way of winning a pot. And in poker, to be fair, it's a very good strategy. And he has won about 500 euros so far with just sheer aggression and very little to do with the cards, and we have an all-in situation by the look of it. So we've got some very strange pre-flop hands here. Moritz probably has the best hand at the moment, and he re-raised with an ace queen 8-8. Like I said before, Frankie doesn't fold. He's re-raised to try and get it heads up with Moritz. It's worked, so it's got Ilva out the way. He's now showing his hand. Jack 10-5. He's got the up and down straight draw, Franca. 3, 4, 5, 6. Got two draws, and he hits his straight. Frankie, you are now my hero. You are my PLO hero. You play the worst hands I've ever seen and somehow get there. You are officially my PLO pinup.
You're getting paid to say that.
I'm being accused of corruption, and may I say that no one has paid me a single penny.
You want another biscuit?
Except Dana, who's given me biscuits. I'm on for the biscuits. Thank you. I'm going for 2 people. 2 biscuits. Corruption is rife. Thank you. Wow. Frankie has a style that I know a couple of players, certainly in Britain where I play a lot of PLO, have, which is pure aggression, don't give a monkeys, get his chips in and hope for the best. Somehow he's runnering a lot of pots. I hate playing players like Frankie because I think I can play this game and then I get ruined by these kind of hands. But it's working very well for him so far in this streamed 2-2 PLO cash game from Casino Banco in Bratislava here at the festival. We're on the final day of the festival, so people have been here a week, very good week. So we've got an ace king jack 3 for Swine, we've got a 10-9-9 for Wise Guy, ace king 9-6 for Ilva, and a 6-4-4-2 for Mora. Now I like a low hand in PLO. If it hits, you're very, very strong. So obviously flop dependent, although there is another 4 out there. 7-6-10, so an 8-9 here is the nuts. Wise Guy has blocker 9s, he may decide to play that. Frankie has the 3 pairs, he has all 3 pairs. So with his, again, pre-flop middle to poor hand, he's magically hit 3 pairs. Wise Guy is making a call with a 10-9 because he's got the blockers and he also got the straight draw with the 9. A jack hits, so we also have a flush here. Wise Guy has a 9 flush, but will he be able to fight Frankie's aggression? Frankie still has the 3 pairs. Wise Guy has to decide, is his flush any good? And if it is, will he call or raise? Those are his decisions. He also could fold here under the constant aggression of Frankie. He's trying to get some information. Frankie is not giving him anything away. Frankie may think he's winning with his 3 pairs. And Wise Guy took the option of folding. So this is an interesting one in Pot Limit Omaha. When you play a hand, you're playing a hand to win a pot. When you then hit your hand and fold, you have to ask yourself the question of why you called in the first place. It's never about the street that you're on. It's never about the 3 cards in front of you on the board. You've got to think forward. You've got to think ahead. If I hit the flush, am I going to call? If I hit the flush, am I winning? You have to think much more strategically about what's likely to happen. Frankie doesn't need to think because he bets pot on pretty well every hand. So he just is bullying the table by virtue of his stack and very little to do with his hand. It's an absolutely acceptable technique in cash poker, but as a player you have to look out for that kind of aggression and be strong when you've hit your hand and just trust that your read is good and that player is just aggressive. Now in that last hand, Frankie did have 3 pairs and could have made a house. But for Wise Guy to fold his made hand on the turn could be seen as weak, could be seen as a solid fold in that he only had the 4th flush. Lots of ways of looking at that one. However, I question whether or not he thought through what would happen if he hit his straight or flush. Okay, we've got 3 players in this one. Ace 10 9 8. We've got a flop of Queen 9 and 2 diamonds. So Frankie's low hand has not hit at all. This time he's not using his aggression, he's checking. Which I think is wise because that board would have hit someone. There's 2 diamonds, there's straight draws, there's a queen. Frankie, though, is now making a strong bet because both the other players checked and showed weakness. We have a nut flush draw for Moritz, and Mora didn't hit a lot. He has a gut shot draw, and that's it. So I can't see Mora continuing in this hand. Moritz has to decide whether his flush draw is any good if he hits. However, if he doesn't hit, then I could see Frankie's aggression getting in. Mora's calling with literally nothing, or he's looking to call with nothing. Don't understand this play at all. No, he's folding. Thank you, Mora. At least I got that right. If he calls there, I literally would give up. And we have a 7. So Frankie, who represented the queen or the house on the turn, is now following through. So although Moritz has the best hand, he doesn't know he has the best hand. He's missed his flush. The reason he called the turn was for the flush draw. All he has is 2 pairs with an ace kicker. He has to decide whether Franca is bluffing or not. We know he is, but Morris doesn't. So Moritz has to decide whether to call or not. He has the tick in the box, he has the best hand, but it's a very tricky situation to know what to do here. He called for the flush draw, didn't hit, and Frankie has again used his aggression extremely well on the turn, representing that queen when he saw weakness on the flop. So this is really good poker. This is cash poker at its finest here in Banco Casino in Bratislava. Franca's aggression took that down. Again, did Moritz think through what happens if I miss my flush? Do I feel that the only way I've got of winning the hand is to hit the hand. There are many ways of winning hands. One is calling bluffs. One is raising, even if you don't have the hand. Because what you're saying is, I don't think you've got anything. Let's see what you do, big boy. So there's lots of ways of playing hands. Often in poker, you do not need to have the best cards to win a pot, especially in cash PLO. Though people say people don't bluff much in PLO. I hear that a lot. A, that's not true, and B, it's not really bluffing. You can represent specific cards, and Frankie represented that he had a minimum a queen or a full house. No one else had one. They all showed weakness on the flop, and he pounced on them. And he's now up to he's up in profit 1,000 euros, and that's from pure aggression. Well done, Frankie. We're back to 5 cards now, so we have a round of 5 card Omaha. We've got Svine with a rundown of an ace queen 9. Oh, dropped my phone. Frankie also has a rundown with a 7-8 jack and 1 suit. Wise Guy, not a bad little hand there. Ace Queen 10-9 with diamonds. And Moritz, who has 2 pairs, kings and 7s, with 1 flush, a spade flush. So at the moment, Moritz has the best hand, and he's about 35-40% favourite here. He 3-bet. With that hand, Wise Guy has called. He has a good hand to call with. I think Moritz might be all in. Yep, they're both all in at this point. So it's all dependent on the cards that are dealt. We've got 3 spades. So Moritz has the nuts at the moment, but the ace hits the river, and the ace 4 gives Wise Guy a full house. A lot of laughing is happening. Poor Moritz, who was absolutely dominating that hand, gets spiked on the river. That's poker, folks. It's a horrible game sometimes. That was a pretty horrendous river for Moritz there. He had the hand totally locked, and Wise Guy increases his profit. Well played, mate. We've got another hand dealt, 5 cards. Ilva, nice rundown, ace queen jack 10 suited, 1 suit. And Mora with an ace queen 6-4-2, 1 suit as well in clubs, but only to the queen. And Frankie, who this time has a proper hand. So he has aces with 2 suits, but only 1 to the ace. Now this is the advantage, where a player is very loose and playing pretty poor hands very aggressively. When you do get a good hand and you continue to play aggressively, people that have spotted a loose aggressive player like Frankie, people like me, may well call this kind of hand where he actually has a strong hand. So the advantage of playing aggressively where you have poor hands and where you represent cards you don't have. That can pay double when you have a good hand. So it is a very good cash strategy. Absolutely no arguments with that at all. We have a flop of 4-4-8. That has smacked Mora with his 4. Do we have 8s anywhere? No. So we have 2 8s out, and we've got Frankie with his aces. Now, Mora's got to look here for making the most. He knows Frankie's aggressive, so he's wisely checked to allow Frankie to bet the standard follow-up bet. Now, the question will be, what does Mora do with this bet? So Svein has gone all in with an 8 and an overpair. That's a strange play, in my humble. Mora has got to be happy at the moment. I think he's just called it rather than re-raised. Because what he wants here, he wants Frankie to call as well to get more chips in the pot. So he's made a deliberate call rather than a raise. I guess Svein knows he's in trouble unless he hits a king. I don't think there were any kings out there from my memory. So he's in a bit of trouble. He does have 23% equity. 26%. Oh, it's down to 11% because he only can hit a king, and he doesn't. So lovely hand for Mora. Great slow play there, knowing that a more aggressive player on the table is going to bet, and then someone else rebet, and Mora said, "Thank you very much, I will call." Good play there by Mora, very good. So he is up to 1.5k. However, he did start with 600, and I don't know what he reloaded for, so I'm sure he's in profit of some kind. Now with a cash game, you can choose to stop playing at any time. So I played a couple of days ago, same game, 2-2 PLO. I had a very good first hour. I was up to about €1,000 from a 200 start, and I decided that's fine, I've had a good hour, I'll stop now, and then I left and went for dinner, etc. So if you lose a couple of times, then that's also something that you may decide, well, it's not my night tonight, I've had 2 buy-ins of 200 each, I'm 400 down, I'm going to call it a day there, lost 400, move on to the next day. So we're now joined in seat 4 by Dan Pilgrim, who's a young English player from north of England. Known him a while, and he's a very technical Omaha player. He did some commentary earlier, a couple of days ago, on a high roller cash game. So he's a very, very technical Omaha player, talks about equity and positions and what you should do at any point. It will be interesting to see whether he follows that through with his play here. Ilva has chosen to raise with an ace king 10 7 6 double suited. Quite a nice hand with 5 cards. You've got straights, you've got 2 flushes, and you've got an ace king. Frankie, being Frankie, has re-raised. So what he's looking for here, he's looking to try and get weaker players to fold, or players with middling hands to fold, to try and get it heads up or with less players. Mora has an ace jack 7-4-3, one suit has called, and so has Ilva. So we have a pot of 80 euros, and we're now looking to see what kind of flop we get. We've got a king 9-4 flop, hasn't really hit anyone, although Ilva is in the lead. No one has the straight on the turn. There's a king queen 9. It's a rainbow board and a 10. So ace jack of Mora and ace jack of Frankie have hit. Be interesting to see how this is bet. So Mora bets 75. Ilva will probably have to fold here. There's too many straights out there that she hasn't got. And Frankie will almost certainly raise because he has the nuts. So does Mora. There'll be a raise and a call or a re-raise, and then we'll split this pot. So they both have the nuts with an ace jack on a king queen 10 board. But there's a bit of Hollywood going on. And we see the re-raise from Mora. All in, call, and they win the huge amount of 15 euros each for hitting the nuts. Don't spend it too quickly. So we're now getting hands dealt out. We're still on the 5 cards. This will be Dan's first hand. Frankie and Mora split the last hand with the nuts. And Dan has folded. Frankie has made the customary raise with an ace queen 5-5-3 showing, which is double suited to be fair. In fact, that's one of his better hands. Mora 3-bet with a pair of kings that are double suited. So double suited kings with a queen. It's a fair hand in 5 card. Ilva is deciding. She does have 2 pairs, 7s and 2s, and nut hearts. So she's deciding how to play this. She's added Frankie aggressively raising in front, but more importantly from her point of view is the re-raise from Mora. I'm sure she will have recognised that Mora isn't a particularly loose player, and so she may well decide accordingly. And wow, Ilva has hit the relative nuts. She's hit a full house on the flop. Interesting to see how she plays this. So she's decided to check. She's playing very passively. She assumed that Frankie would follow up his bet, his raise, because he usually does. We're now seeing Ilva take the lead. She has the nut hand and the ace as well. No one else has actually hit any of this. I'm sure they will respect Ilva. She's been the tightest player on the table so far. So both Frankie and Mora will fold. I'm going to back my read here. If Mora does anything but fold, I will eat my hat. Okay, here we go, people. I'm eating my hat. It's the worst read in history. This hat is lovely. Wow. So we still have the full house of 7s over 6s, but Mora is now in a more interesting position because he's hit a full house of 6s over kings. That stopped Ilva betting. I think she was worried a little bit about the 6. Possible aces out there, but more likely the 6. So she did not bet. She played that very safely, but still won a nice pot. Well done, Ilva.
And he's asking if he can use like the phone to call executive to hand him away and stuff out of the room. And so she
Andreas?
opened it up again, took the phone and digging around. And it's like, yeah, and apparently, like, and so she's just like, getting around.
Well, we've got Dan Pilgrim now with ace 10, 9, 6, 4. Dealt. Mora has an interesting rundown here. 6, 7, 8, 10, double suited. Quite like that hand in 5 cards. Does have to hit the lower end of that draw to be confident. And Frankie has a lot of blockers on that hand, including a better spade draw. So Dan has the better high hand at the moment, but both Frankie and Mora have some interesting straight draw hands. However, the flop is Jack, Jack 5. No one has a Jack, so this hand is likely to go to the aggressor rather than the player with the best hand. So Mora has checked. He's got absolutely nothing to do with this flop. Frankie has been the most aggressive player on the table, is very unlikely to check. And here we see him lining up some chips, and he's bet 45 into the pot. He's going to take this down with pure aggression. It's not a big pot, but again, the table captain has just been promoted to major. He's now the table major. Well done, table major. Now Frankie is on 978, Wise Guy on 1,000, and Mora 1.3. So 3 players have now around the €1,000 mark. Gives them a lot of play, a lot of chips to play with. Jacob has only got 4% VIP, which is an aggression rating. So that means he literally, A, is hardly playing a hand, and B, very rarely raises, if at all. It's a very, very low rating in an Omaha game. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one that low. I mean, a low rating would be like 25%, and he has 4. So that's an interesting one. So a new hand being dealt out. The pot is 9 because it's 2-2 with a 5 straddle. So that's why we get the €9 in the pot to start with. Young Dan Pilgrim, who was also in Tallinn last week, is in early position. He's got a reasonable starting hand, but because of his position has decided to fold. Svein, again, not a great 5-card hand, very little connected with no flush. Here's an interesting hand, Jacob. Now, he's got a very low VIP rating, but he has Ace Jack 998, He has 2 suits and a connected middle board. So he has raised. Will that get respect from the others? Probably not. Frankie actually has a very good hand for once. Ace, King, King, 9-8. I do expect him to re-raise when it comes round. And yes, thank you, Frankie. You've made me look good for once. €45, so he's made the re-raise. Jacob now probably will call. He has called, and so has Mora. They both have hands to call, all dependent on this flop. Queen 5-5, and again Mora has hit his dangler, one of his poor cards, with a 5. Can he get paid? There is a flush out there, which Jacob's got out of the way. He didn't have the flush. So Frankie follows through his aggression. He's got to put over pair. Mora will almost certainly call rather than raise. There's not a lot of advantage in raising here because Frankie is so aggressive that he will continue to bet, and that's what Mora wants. He's hit the 5. The only hand beating him is queens, which Frankie doesn't have. That 7 makes a flush draw, which no one has, but it also makes a full house for Mora. Frankie has checked though. There's €400 in the pot. Does Mora check here to induce the bet on the river, or does he make a bet to either induce Frankie to raise or to get paid? It should not be too big a bet because it won't get paid if it is. So let's see what he's betting. I would recommend 150. Yep, 175's a nice size bet. So it's a suspicious bet in that it's so low or so small compared to the 400 pot that Frankie may think he does have a good hand and that his kings are no good, or it may induce Frankie to re-raise in his inimitable aggressive style. We will see, people. You decide. Votes coming in. This is an interesting position to be in Omaha. So Frankie did fold. Mora showed him the 5-7, or at least one of them, and took down the pot. So Frankie, for all his aggression, actually also found a way of not losing more in that pot when he was sure he was losing. So good play there. You have to manage your losses as well as try and maximize your gains in any poker game, especially a kind of loose-ish cash Omaha game like we're seeing tonight. So we've got the next hand dealt. Mora is making a call with a King 10 8-5-2 showing. Not a great hand. Ilva has a suited ace with a 4-7-8 queen. Not a terribly connected hand. Franca's hand is quite an interesting one here with a queen, queen, jack 4-3 double suited. I like that. And he has made a customary raise. Dan Pilgrim has made a call, also has a strong hand, and he definitely will recognise Frankie, he knows him well, as an aggressive player who doesn't necessarily have what he represents. The flop is 2 diamonds, 9-4-3. We have an up and down straight draw for Swine. Ilva doesn't have a lot here. Swine has the up and down with an 8 kicker as well. Do we have any diamonds? Yeah, we have a diamond draw by Dan. So Dan has to decide, A, whether his diamond draw is any good, but he also has block of 5s for the straight. Now we know Mora has a 5, but Dan doesn't know that, and he has decided that this is the right position with the with the blockers and the flush to push his 200 euros in. I think he started with 300 because he's already put 50 in the pot. Mora now has the difficult decision against a player he hasn't played against. I don't believe he has, as to whether or not he's any good. He folds, and Frankie, who has 2 pairs, he has the 3-4, who also, like I say, knows Dan. Dan knows him, he knows Dan. He has to decide whether Dan has got the winning hand and he's drawing dead. So for instance, set of 9s or 9-4, or whether Dan has the draw, which we know he has. And like again, I'd say it's easy when you see the cards. It's not so easy when you're on the table. So he's decided that it's worth calling. He's called the 200 into a pot of 350. He's got the 3-4. So Dan is the one that needs to hit a diamond or an overbay. He's hit a jack and a 9. So Jack 9 gives the pot to Frankie with 2 pairs, queens and 9s, and Dan, who had the draw, is going into his wallet. Let's hope there's some money still in it. So Dan made the aggressive play there. Unfortunately, Frankie had the 2 pairs. He smelt out that Dan's raise was a drawing hand. He felt his 3-4 was winning. He had backups as well and decided to call that. So well played again, Frankie. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook. Do send any messages in, guys. There's a chat room on both. We've got over 50 viewers, so it'd be great to hear from you. I'll try and answer any questions either about the play or about Omaha. If I can help at all, I'd be very happy to. So we're now on a 4-card Omaha. We've finished the round of 5. So the ranges are going to be slightly very different from 5. 5 cards cover a lot more possible hands than 4. There's a really big difference between 4 and 5. 4 card is the traditional Omaha game. It's kind of what I was brought up on. And then more recently, 5 and even 6 cards seems to be what everyone wants to play. So we've got a very dangerous connected board. Queen 10, 9, 2 diamonds. We've got straights there. We've got flushes there. We've got flush draws. We've got sets. Ilva has the king, queen, jack, jack. So she has a fantastic hand here. She has the king, jack for the nut straight and the blocker jacks. However, that's changed slightly now in that the board has paired. So Mora may choose to represent a stronger hand than he has. He has bet the 100, but Ilva's going nowhere. She's shown very solid skills. However, the flush has now hit. So Mora only has a 4-high flush, but he has to work out. So he checked it to see what would happen. Ilva is going to feel pretty sick about this, losing a hand as strong as the one she had. I feel for her there. That's an impressive pot, though, for Mora to win. He represented a stronger hand than he had. All he had was the second lowest flush draw. He hit his flush and got paid. Well played, Mora. And very unlucky, Ilva. So we're looking at the VPIP, the aggression ratio. Frankie, 91%. You really don't see that very often in any cash game, let alone a streamed 2-2 PLO. And his aggression is absolutely paying off. He's bossing this table, he's hitting for fun, he's runner-runnering it, and when he doesn't hit, his aggression and betting patterns have been pushing people off winning hands. On the chip count, Mora 1.7 through that lucky flush draw. Frankie over 1,000. And it was too quick for me. Someone else on 1,000. I don't know if the guys in the production box can hear me, but it would be great just to keep those stats up a little bit longer, because it gives me a bit of time to look at them and explain them to the people. They're coming up so quick that it makes it quite hard. Okay, I'm gonna. Come in? No, a drink. Oh, sorry, I thought you said break. I'm sure you said break. Right, we've got some cards dealt. Some. Oh, okay, this is an interesting hand. So Wise Guy has 3 aces with the flush draw to the spades. It's a very interesting hand, although the flop, 6, 8, 10, is a massively connected flop with hearts draw. We have Svein in a fantastic position. He has a second set of 8s and the ace of hearts to block the flush draw. We have Mora with the made hand. He has the 9-7, so he has the made straight, and he also has a 10. Wise Guy, though, with his exploratory aces, 3 of them, has decided to bet out. I don't like this play. On such a connected board, aces can never be winning. Save your money, mate. Wait for another opportunity. Good pre-flop hand, even though you got 3 of them. But you see a board like this, you do not touch it with a barge pole. 6, 8, 10 has hit at least 1, if not 2 players on the table, and that's exactly what's happened. So Svein has re-raised with his set of 8s. Mora absolutely will call with his made hand, and Frankie and Wise Guy will get out of the way. In fact, we see a nice raise by Mora. He's got the nuts. He doesn't want any other draw to be there. Svein is already all in. So this is all about whether the board pairs or not. If the board pairs, Svein will get a full house. If not, Mora will take down another pot. We see King King. Wow. Runner, full house. Svein picks up a lovely 400 profit. And Mora is a bit gutted by that one. So here we have the aggression frequency. Frankie right up the top, no surprise there, 58, followed by Mora. The others all around the 25-30 mark, and Jacob has crept up from 4 to 6% because he played a hand. 6%, yeah, you save your money, but you're never going to win much at that kind of ratio. Now we're just seeing a rerun of the full house that Svein hit. To be fair, he was short stacked. He had, or relatively short stacked, he had the set. He knows he's up against a made hand or a potential one with a flush draw, but he got his money in with outs and he hit them.
I'm doing the opposite here. I get 30 minutes and whatever on the second.
So here we have, we're still on the 4 card, hands being dealt out. You can all see the hands on the screen. Let's look at some of the stacks people have. So Wise Guy is up near the 1,000 mark. Dan Pilgrim had to rebuy and is on 333. Mora is doing very well on 1.4k, but he had 2 buy-ins. And Jacob, who's hardly played a hand, has 300. Ilva has actually played very well, but been particularly unlucky, in my humble opinion, is on 390. So she's called that raise. Mora made the initial raise with an ace-ken 5-3. Jacob has called with 6-7, 7-10. We have a flop, 2 spades, king 9-6. Who's hit this best? Probably Dan Pilgrim. He's got the 5-9 of spades. However, Jacob has got the 6-7 and the 10 of spades draw. So he's got a gut shot straight draw with the 10-7. Mora has decided to get it in with the king and has hit another king and an 8. But this 7-10 makes a straight. So Jacob has hardly played a hand, but when he plays, his chips go in and he wins a lovely pot there of over 400 euros. So he's done very well there. Jacob is the only Danish player on the table. I don't know what we can work out with the Norwegians and the Swedes being massively aggressive and the Dane being quite content to have a bacon sandwich and bide his time. Well done, Jacob. Nice to see you win a pot. Go Denmark. A bit like the 1992 European Championships when Denmark came from nowhere to win at odds of 40-1, apparently. Talk to my wife, please. Please. Here we go, we have a new hand being dealt out, still on the 4 card Omaha, so the ranges are that much tighter than the 5 card you saw a few minutes ago. Let's have a quick look on the old Twitch, and can't see any chat on Twitch, but we do have over 50 runners. I had to reboot my connection, so that may be a reason. A few viewers on Facebook as well. Welcome everyone. We are here at the final stages of TheFestival, which is on the web as TheFestival.com. It's also a very good app which has kept players informed. They made a couple of new tournaments today and all the players got that information early on. And we have 4 players to a flop of King 5-9, Rainbow flop. That means no flush draw. King 9-5. Who has smacked this? We have Wise Guy has smacked this with the bottom set. But Ilva with the Queen 10-8, so she has a gut shot straight, is using her tight image to make the first bet. She'll obviously reassess depending on what happens, but it will take some of those players out. So Mora and Swine have very little to do with this flop. We'll see what Wise Guy does. He's made a raise to 75. So he's made quite a small raise here. And Ilva has not gone away. She's called. We now have a potential straight on board with a 5, 6, 7, 8. Ilva doesn't have it, but she's certainly representing it. So she's putting maximum pressure on Wise Guy, who absolutely no nonsense, gets his money all in, says, if you've got the best hand, you can call me. Ilva does call because she's committed to this pot. Let's see what the river is. Will those 3 5s hold, or will the straight come in? We're running it twice, so we've got a queen there. That's no good to Ilva. And the second board is a 7, which does give Ilva the straight. So they have split this pot because they ran it twice. This is an option for all cash games, done in America a lot. You can run it once, twice, or 3 times. Technically you can run it more. Both players have to agree to how the board is run out. Both players agreed to run it twice with their respective hands. That's totally understandable, and they split that pot. So we got a few questions on Twitch coming through. Henrik has asked how Jacob the donkey is doing. Bit unfair there, mate. He's hardly played a hand, but the hand he has played, or the one he played where he got all his chips in, he won and doubled up. So well done, Jacob. Knut, very positive. Thank you, mate. You're doing so great that we don't need to ask questions. Well, take that as a compliment, and I am very grateful, Knut. Thank you very much. Probably pronouncing your name wrong, but thank you. And then Zorro Kungan has gone Forza Arsenal 3-1 versus Spurs. If you could go outside and shoot yourself, Zorro, that would be great, because I'm a Spurs fan. And it's dark days at the moment. We actually had our best team out today and still lost 3-1. Okay, we've got some interesting hands out there. Very interesting. We've got queens with a 9. We've got aces. Dan Pilgrim. I'm sure he's going to re-raise, and he does. He's got double suited aces. That's a premium hand in 4-card Omaha. Mora, I would think, would fold here. King, Queen, 7, 6. Frankie doesn't like folding, especially against a player like Dan. So he could do anything. I do not want to predict this. He could fold, he could call, he could re-raise. But in this case he folds, and Dan takes €70 profit with a premium hand. I mean, although Frankie is very aggressive and has shown that he just almost doesn't care when he puts his chips in, when he has a decision like that to make, he is taking the sensible option and folding. There was no value in there in calling or raising. If a player like Dan is re-raising there, he'll be doing it with a very good hand, and it was. So we've got another hand now. The pot's already 34. Frankie's deciding how he plays his 10-9-4-2. We have Oliver making the raise with an ace-8-5-3 and calls all around. Wise Guy has a good hand with an ace-queen 8-7. Decides just to call though rather than raise. It looks like he's hit the gin. So he's got the nut flush draw and the queen. So he has top pair with the nut flush draw. Frankie has a gut shot with the 2-4. Mora has the 2 pairs with a 6-3, but no redraw and no spades. So this could be tricky. Mora, though, is an aggressive player. He's decided to try and get this taken care of by betting it. He thinks his 6-3 ahead is ahead, which it is. However, Wise Guy is absolutely no nonsense. He's got all his chips in on just a queen high with a flush draw. He does have to hit. There's the ace, so he's now got ace queen and takes down a very, very big pot. This is nearly a 2,000 pot. It's been run twice though. So not only has he hit the 2 pairs, he's also hit the nut flush, and he hits both. He's taken all of Mora's chips. Mora is now minus 1,000 and may not come back to the game. I have no idea. But Mora has lost a big, big pot. The problem Mora had there was he's made a play with the bottom 2 where there is a clear draw. There was a straight draw, there was a flush draw. Someone could have the complete wrap around the 3-6. They could have a set of queens, so he could even be losing. They could have queen 6, queen 3. There's so many combinations that your bottom 2 pairs are losing to. I don't like the option of pushing all your chips in when you do not know what else is happening with the bottom 2. Because to be honest, you're much more likely to lose a big pot than win it. And that's a very different decision on the turn or on the river, even if nothing obvious has hit. But the way that was played was very aggressive by Wise Guy. He played it very well. And to be fair, deserved to win that. He had the best hands, played it well. And not only did he win the pot, he won it on a 2 run-outs, so he won both with the best 2 pairs and with a nut flush. Well done. We've got some hands out there now, some interesting ones. We've got the usual raise by Frankie. Mora is tilting a little bit. He's pushed it all in with 10-9-3-5. That is a pretty poor hand in PLO. It's like Ilva, who's very solid, and Frankie, who's very aggressive. So quite how people play against Mora's re-raise will define a lot. So Ilva has decided just to call. Frankie probably won't re-raise here. I could see him just calling and seeing a flop. There's not a lot of value in him re-raising because his hand is not particularly strong. He's got a diamond draw with a middle 4-7-8. So Svein has a pretty poor hand. I should think he'll fold. Jacob could play this in many different ways. Queen, queen, 10-4. We don't know what he's going to do yet. So it's on Svein, who has a jack 8, 6-2. I personally would have folded this on the 30 raise, let alone a 120. If he plays this hand, he should go and see a psychologist. Right. Sorry, Svein. Okay, so we've got a rather nice big pot here of 780 euros already with chips behind. So we know one player is all in. No one has a king. So no one has hit the proverbial here. So this will be interesting as to see whether anyone. Ylva has decided that her reputation of being a solid player will see her through, and she has an all-in bet of 238. Mora, who has nothing to do with the flop at all, and Jacob have to decide what to do. Mora's all in already, so he's committed. Jacob now has a decision. He has queens on a king-king board. I think a call is perfectly fair here, or a raise, but he has elected to call. So we have three players in with a side pot between Jacob and Ylva. Obviously Mora. So we have a 3-5-3 rollout. Ylva has hit her full house on the turn. She had the best. She had very little actually with a 5-5 ace queen, but she was betting to try and isolate and get players out that had better hands. She got rewarded. Mora has now done 2 big stacks and is probably going home to cry. Ylva used her reputation as a solid player on the table, and she certainly earned that, to win a very big pot. Well done, Ylva. That's good poker. And Jacob might consider himself a little unlucky there, because he did have the best hand when the money went in. So we've only got 6 players on the table now as Mora has departed. Wise Guy is now on nearly 2,000 euros. Ylva massively rised to 1.3. Franca has lost quite a bit in the last few hands. He's on 860. He was on over 1 million. So things are starting to ebb and flow. And we're back to 5 card Omaha. The ranges widen. The risk in always more interesting. So we've had the, I don't know if it's a rule that Frankie raises, but he raises every hand, so I guess it's a rule. He has made the usual raise, and there have been a couple of calls. Flop of ace 9 jack, rainbow flop. Hasn't really hit anyone, although Franca has has the top 2, and Jacob has ace 9. So they both have 2 pairs. Not a lot of draws out there. Frankie has bet 50. Now Jacob, interestingly, has gone all in. And Frankie has called with his top 2. He's not going anywhere. So Jacob, I think, was trying to use his tight reputation to take Frankie off. But in fact, Frankie has won the pot with the ace jack. Jacob couldn't improve his ace 9 and has left the table. I don't know if we're going to see him again. Probably not. So the Danish bacon is no more. So I'm going to be playing the second stream, which I think will be starting in about half an hour or an hour. Obviously I can't play this one because I've had the advantage of seeing how the players play and their cards, and that would be very unfair. and of course I would use that to my advantage and try and win as much money as possible, which is kind of the idea. So we have 5 players. Now that makes 5 card Omaha quite interesting because the ranges really widen. 5 cards and only 5 players means that hands that you might not consider on a full table you would consider. And here we see Jason Glatzer coming in. Jason commentates on this forum and also is one of our main bloggers for the festival, and he works for Poker News. Known him a long time, and we've co-commentated before. So we have Jason putting his own money up. Very unusual. Most journalists don't get their own money out. They don't like it. It's superstition or something. So I don't know how much he's buying in for. We will see a bit later. And we also have another one of our bloggers who I don't know, but I've met him a couple of times coming in. So we'll find out what his name is if someone tells me. So seat 9 is young Arvin from Poker Listings, or Arvid if you actually want to pronounce his name correctly. Thank you for that. Got people each side of me feeding me information. Wonderful. So Wise Guy is up to nearly 2,000 euros. He's had a great run. Frankie's back in the zone with 1.3.
Next time.
We already asked to leave.
You're just here for the free beer, right?
Would you like to borrow my polar bear from you?
So pre-flop raising, no doubt there. Frankie over 50% and the rest under 20%. He has been absolutely the most aggressive player on the table, and so far it's paid off for him. So we've now got 7 players on the table. We nearly have a full table with our 2 new players, both bloggers and journalists in the poker world. Always interesting to see journalists play, a bit like dealers. Always happy to see a dealer on my cash table because they usually spew their money away. So we've got young Dan Pilgrim here with a decent starting hand. Suited ace with a 7-7-9 queen, needs to see a flop and hit one. Svein with a mixed hand. In fact, everyone's got something. Quite like Ilva's hand here, 5-7-9, 10 queen. There's a lot of run down there. So we did get the usual Frankie raise. He's consistent, I'll give him that. If there's chips to put in the pot, he's putting them in. But we get a flop of 10-2-4, 2 clubs. So how's that hit anyone? We have Svein is all over this. He's got the gut shot draw and the nut flush draw. Can't see him going anywhere. Dan Pilgrim, not a lot to do with this. Wise Guy has the wrap on the 2-3-5. So I could see both of them going to war here. We have a gut shot from Frankie, who obviously bet, but may not stay in this. So Svein has decided that his hand is too strong to take any nonsense. He's got the nut flush draw and the gut shot, plus the 4 on board. He's got it all in. So Wise Guy has re-raised. That's a very strong raise with the wrap around the ace-3-5 around the 2-4. Let's see where this goes. So the king of clubs, this is the first one that has won it for Svein with the nut flush, and on the second board, which no one is showing me, can't see it. I guess That was won by the other player. So they both chopped up Ilva's money there. They got €75 profit. So for people out there that aren't sure about running it once, running it twice, what running it twice does is it brings some kind of balance to the run out on the board. So although you may, let's say, have the best hand on the flop, if you have the best hand on the flop, it's usual that your opposition has the drawing hand, and that's exactly what we saw in that thing. By running it twice, it allows more variation to equalize. It doesn't just rely on one card to determine the outcome. It just allows a little more variation to be applied, and quite often you do get split pots in that scenario. I was playing a couple of days ago, and I elected to agree to 2 runs, won both of them, and smiled for many minutes. Okay, we have 5 cards dealt. Svein has a pretty strong showing, double suited, ace, king, jack, 8, 6, but is only calling. Now that surprises me. To me, 5 cards, that's a raising hand. It's a very strong showing. He either wants to be slow playing or is assuming that Frankie will do the raising for him. When I'm playing on a table, I'm sometimes the most aggressive player, sometimes the most passive player. You have to adapt to the table. If you've got a player like Frankie on it, you know in the main he's going to be raising or re-raising, so you can let other players, if you like, do the work for you. But it's a dangerous way of playing because you want to maximize your return when you have good hands. So we have a 5, 7, 8 to board. We have Wise Guy with 2 pairs. We have Swine with a straight draw. Dan Pilgrim with a straight draw, but he has now folded it because it was the low end of it. So both Frankie and Wise Guy are both drawing. We have 3 diamonds now. Now Wise Guy's winning this, but he may not win the pot. So although he has the best hand, a lot will depend on Frankie's aggression, which as normal is 100%. He's bet the full pot, and now Wise Guy has to decide, and he folds the best hand. Again, aggression wins. There's a lot of learning in this game, it really is. I mean, aggression here has made Frankie go from €300 to 1.2k. He had virtually won that money. That profit has been won with pure aggression and luck. Very little to do with good PLO play if you read a book. However, books do not teach you how to play this game. Frankie has a very particular style, and it works. It certainly works for him. Not suitable for everyone. I choose to mix my aggression and my solid kind of play. We all choose to play differently, and that's the beauty of this game. You get so many different styles and different cultures applied. I once played in Sweden in a €200 rebuy PLO, and found that if I called in early position, I was almost committed to the pot because of the raises and re-raises. And I thought I was an aggressive Omaha player, only to find that 8 Swedes and Norwegians around me made me extremely passive because I had no choice but to play a different way. So we've got 4 to the 4 to the flop. 10-10 4. Ilva has hit this. Sorry, 10-7 4. Ilva has hit the top pair. There's a few gut shots out there. There is a set of sevens for Svein. So a lot of this will depend how Svein plays. Will he let the aggression of others like Frankie, who of course bets? So Frankie has gut shot draws here. How will Svein play this when it comes round to him? Will he raise, or will he just flat call to let Frankie hang himself? I prefer the latter option. Frankie's always going to bet whatever happens. I wouldn't be... Sorry, have I missed something? Frankie... What? Svein has just folded second set. Ulva has made a massive raise on a very safe board using her solid reputation, and Frankie has folded. How does Stein... I seriously don't understand that. How does Svein just fold second set? Okay, maybe the graphics were wrong or something, but I'm struggling with that one, people. If any of you can tell me why or what's happening, I'll be very happy to hear.
Welcome to the game. What? Both of them. Now you're going to hear Frankie's favourite word.
It's not cold. It's not cold. That's not his favorite word.
Okay, I looked at one card. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. Sorry. Should not.
Hamlet? No.
No, I'm just looking at the guys playing poker so I can learn how to do.
So we have 5 card Omaha and 5 players. No, maybe 6 to the flop. Let's see what happens. I'm reliably informed that we might have had some graphics wrong there, and Svein didn't have the set of sevens. He tells me that maybe there was an error there because he would never have folded a set of sevens. So there might have been an error on the graphics there. Apologies, everyone. So we have a flop of 10-8-6. This is a made flop. If you have 7-9 in your hand, you're winning. If you have a flush draw, you're drawing. We know Wise Guy has the 9-7. He's bet into it. Svein has called with the flush draw. And now we see a turn. There is no flush there yet. We still have Wise Guy with the nut straight. And Svein is checking. Wise Guy's betting 55, so fairly strong bet, but he does allow the call. And now we see a river, and it's the king of diamonds, so Svein has missed his straight. No other hand has improved, so the nuts are the 9-7. Wise Guy will bet this, possibly a little bit. He should bet around 100, I think, into this. He shouldn't bet too much in the hope. Maybe even less, 75. What's he bet? Let's see what he's bet. He wants to get called. He's bet 131. I think it's a bit strong. I would be betting less just in the hope that the lower straight has been made, or 2 pairs calls you. There's Jason and Arvid sharing a beer. They've been working together for the last week. A cheers to the table, and we're getting all the glasses out. We love it. This is what poker's about. Camaraderie, a few drinks, win or lose some money isn't always the most important thing. It's about having a great time with your mates, meeting new friends. I've been blessed to have met some lovely Swedes, a couple of Norwegians. Who else have I met? A couple of Danish guys, and that's great. It's lovely, and if I meet them again on the circuit around Europe, then it'll be lovely to run into them and have a chat about how we did in the festival in Bratislava. Oh, Jason has double-suited aces, one of the premium hands in 4-card Omaha. He's definitely going to raise. He's also raising Frankie, who is the most aggressive player on the table. So he's raised to 65. How will Frankie play here? Now, he knows Jason's a solid Omaha player. In fact, we all played an Omaha tournament in Tallinn. So how will Frankie play this? His options are, there's nothing wrong with folding here against a fairly solid player like Jason, but I think he's going to call. He does. So Jason, although Jason has a premium hand, the flop has come Jack, Jack, 10. So now Frankie has the King, Queen, the straight draw, and the pair. So though Jason's winning, Jason will recognise it's a dangerous flop, but still gets his money in. Frankie has the draw. He doesn't care. He's calling. Let's see what happens, folks. Da 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 da. How many times are they running it? Looks like once. Ace is holding at the moment, and the king hits for the aces to hold. So well done, Jason. He's doubled up on his first hand. So nice little profit there of €250. So the aggression ratio, Jason's in at 50%, but to be fair, he's only played 2 hands, so he literally played one of them aggressively. Frankie's still out there 58%, but that was 91% at one point. So Frankie's aggression ratio has gone down. I think it's important for other players on the table to recognise whether someone is loose aggressive and to play accordingly. So we're back to 4-card now, so we now have a round of 4-card Omaha. Frankie has the 7-6-4-4, he's making a raise. I like a raise with this kind of low board because you can represent a high hand if the flop hits, or you can hit your low cards. Wise Guy has a lovely hand, Queen 10-10-9, nice straight in connected hand with spades. Jason folds. Dan Pilgrim has a pair of jacks but very little support, and Svein has a relatively good hand of the ace, queen, jack, 8, but does have 3 diamonds. Svein, however, elects to raise to 110. This will take some players out, not Frankie, I'm pretty sure. So Dan folds, but Wise Guy and Frankie both call, and they both have every right to be in this flop. I like this play by Frankie. I don't know what's going to happen, but I like playing low cards against what's likely to be much harder. And as predicted, and I have not seen this hand, Frankie hits the board with a ton of bricks, with a set of 4s. He's always going to be betting even if he misses. We do have the nut flush diamond draw by Svein. He probably won't go anywhere. He'll either re-raise, yes he has. So they're both all in. Well, Svein is all in and Frankie has called. So Svein is looking for a diamond. Frankie has everything. He has the up and down straight draw, the straight flush draw, and the house, which he's just hit. So this is a great play by Frankie, using his loose image. So when you actually have a good hand, you still get called. Lovely play, really like that. And like I said before I even saw the cards, I also like raising with this kind of 4, 4, 6, 7 hand. I think it works both ways and you can find a way of winning a pot. Well played, Frankie. Excellent play. So I guess we're going to be coming towards the end of this session in 10-15 minutes. I will be playing the next session, so people can abuse me rotten for my poor decision making and play, just like I have abused these players rotten. To be fair, I've also praised good play when I've seen it. Always interesting to look at how other players play, see their cards, and I always learn when I commentate or am able to be in this position. It's a great way of constantly learning how to play this game, even though I played it for 40 years. So I love this. So here we see we still have 6 players left. A couple of players have been ironed out. That's the poker term for losing all your money. Always like that term. I'm ironed out. So Ilva, very profitable at the moment. Frankie, well up. Wise Guy doing very well. Dan hasn't got going yet. Svein has made some interesting folds, but apparently he didn't have that set of 7s that the graphics told me, so that may have been my bad. Here comes Arvid for a massive call of €5. Now Ilva has a premium hand here, ace, king, queen, 10. She should be raising the pot. She needs to get value in the pot. We know that certain players will never fold. So yes, she has raised the pot. 4, 5, 6, 9 is really not a bad hand in 4-card Omaha. Absolutely, Frankie will call, especially when it's only 25. Wise Guy has an interesting holding of ace 3, 3, 2 if it's a low flop. We have a flop of jack 8, 4, 2 spades. So Frankie has the gut shot draw, the pair, and the spade draw. No one else has a spade draw. Dan Pilgrim has the top 2 pairs though. He may not go anywhere. Ilva has followed through her strong play. She does have the gut shot draw to the high, so a 9 will give her the high straight. Dan Pilgrim has decided this is too good for him. He's got the top 2. Everyone else is going to be drawing, so he's pushed his chips in. Ilva may well fold now. She doesn't have this. She has a nut flush draw. She's not folding. She probably will re-raise to take Frankie off it. Yep, there we go. She's trying to isolate the hand with Dan. With her table image, I can't see Frankie doing anything else but folding. He must think his flush draw is no good, and he was right. So Dan is now up against a flush draw. He's winning at the moment with the top 2. However, there are a lot of high cards for Ilva to hit as well. We have a 3, so we're running it once. Ilva has hit the flush draw, and Dan has hit the house. So they are going to split this pot, and they're both going to make €70 each of Frankie's money. I think it's always nice to win a bit of Frankie's money. I would like to do so in the future. Just having a stretch there, guys. So here we've got the pre-flop raise. So again, Frankie well over 50%, Jason 28% because he's only played a few hands, and everyone else 15% or under. And so Frankie's aggression rating massive compared to the rest of the table, and we've seen that throughout this session. Got a couple of messages from Knut and Luigi wishing me luck when I play. If there is a second stream, I'm not even sure there will be. But thank you very much. The Omaha cash has gone quite well for me this week. I'm about 2,000 euros up in profit. I didn't play the high roller 1,000 buy-in event because the numbers were very low, and I like value in tournaments I play. So I chose not to play that, and I played cash instead and won about 1,000 in that, which would have been 4th place in the tournament. And tournaments are variable. So we have a flop of ace, queen, 6, rainbow flop. We have a set of 6s for Wise Guy. We have top 2 for Svein. This is going to get dirty, people. And we have, and Svein even has backdoor straights, but this is going to get dirty. So Wise Guy with his set has bet 75. And as I predicted, Svein has pushed all in with his top 2. He's not going anywhere. Wise Guy is in massive shape here with a set because Svein is limited to only hitting 2 cards. That doesn't help, and nor does that. So Wise Guy, another hand. He's played really well. Some of you were abusing him, I guess your mates, earlier, calling him a donkey. Well, he's the best donkey on the table, in my humble opinion. So, well done, mate. That was very good. And I'm afraid our cool bet guy Svein, the Norwegian, not that it matters, is going to the felt. His chips are no more. He has lost everything and is moving away. We're now down to 6 players on the table. Frankie, the aggressor. Ilva, the solid player who uses her image well. Wise Guy, who's actually won more significant pots than anyone else. Dan, who's not got going. Jason, who's won more pots than lost in his short time there. And Arvid, who's done absolutely nothing. I have no idea what Arvid's doing. He's not doing anything. Oh, are you coming in to join me, or are you just sitting here looking pretty?
Sitting here very quietly, watching you and listening to you.
Okay, so we're joined by half of a person in the shape of Ilva, who is in seat 1, who's now watching herself play 20 minutes ago, which is conceptually quite weird.
So quiet.
She's not quiet, she just talked loudly over the microphone. She's never been quiet in her life. Right, stop it. Right, here we go. So we have 4 players. There's been an early raise and 3 calls. There's a flop of 3, 4, 6. We have 2 spades and more importantly a connected flop. And that connection has hit Dan Pilgrim. Dan has the nuts at the moment with a 2-5. Okay, 5-7 beats him, but it's a relative nuts. Jason has an interesting hand in that he has a set of 6s. So he has top set against Dan's made hand. Dan is going all in. Jason's not taking any nonsense. He shoves all his money in. Arvid, now what has Arvid got? Oh, he's got the 5-2 as well, the same as Dan. Now this is a very interesting situation where 2 players have the same straight, but one of the other players has the draw to beat both of them. I love this situation. It favours Jason in with the draw with top set, because the other 2 kind of cancel each other out. I don't know, it somehow gives some kind of confidence to Jason winning this. So let's see. Oh, he's won it. Look at that. I'm so good at this. I predict exactly what happens. People, vote for me for president. There's Jason, up and cheering. He's won all the money. I think I'm in for a big drink tonight from him. I think when he commentates, I'm up for a big whiskey for praising him and predicting he's going to win the hand. And that's a really interesting one where you do get 2 players or 3 players sometimes with the same. Now when you have Omaha and you have 4 or 5 cards, it's really easy to both have the same hand, the same straight. In fact, with 6 card Omaha, I once won a tournament with a pair of 2s as the winning hand. I won a trophy with 6 cards with a pair of 2s because we both had exactly the same hand, except he had a 4, I had a 2. I happened to hit a 2 and it won. And it's really weird where hands are the same. In this case, those 2 would have chopped the pot, but Jason had that set. He was the only one that could have won it with the redraw, and he hit a house on the turn. Well played.
I'm gonna interrupt you now. JJ,
Yes.
you are an extremely good commentator. Very focused and very good commentating. It's very interesting to listen to you. I was listening a little bit from the table.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice. Very interesting to listen to you.
Always happy to get positive feedback from anyone, including Ilva, who has played very well in this session. So I've been complimentary about her.
Wow! Because my first impression with you was not the best because I was super drunk and I was a little bit embarrassed about my behavior.
Yeah, we didn't connect positively when we met, but
Maybe we matched not much on Tinder.
But we will probably won't match on Tinder
No,
or Grindr.
We'll match in real life.
When I've said before, guys, when I commentate on a game, I look at how the player is playing, what their position is, and I'll only commentate objectively. It's never about
He is
the
so
personal.
serious, but very good commentating. Very interesting to
Thank you.
hear.
Let's get back to the commentary, people. So we have 4 cards out there. Let's see what we have. Okay, we got a double suited from Dan Pilgrim, a double suited from Wise Guy. All about the flop, 2, 3, 8, 2 hearts. So Dan Pilgrim has hit a pair and the nut flush draw. We have an up and down from Wise Guy. So I think this could get expensive as well, and that's probably about it. So we can see Wise Guy and Dan. Dan has bet. Wise Guy's just flat called. That's interesting. So no raise there. So we're in the same situation. Dan Pilgrim has the better draw. Is interesting. So Dan has only hit 2 pairs. I know the way Dan plays. He will call a bet. So Wise Guy has literally gone, I've missed, I give up. And that was good play by Wise Guy. I know Dan would have called any bet there because there were so many draws that Wise Guy is likely to have, and Dan would have read that he's making a play. He showed weakness on the flop and the turn, and Dan's hit his 2 pairs, and we'll go, you got it, good luck to you. So well played Wise Guy for recognising that a bluff there or any move would have resulted in losing. Aggression ratio, always an interesting one. So again, Frankie, the only one over 55%. Jason's only played 4 hands, that doesn't count. Ilva, interestingly, 32%. She's next to me. But more aggressive than her more passive play might suggest. So sometimes stats don't actually reflect how you see a player playing when you're on a table. So if I'm on this table, I'm looking around, I'm going, Ilva's playing solid, I'm going, Wise Guy's hitting, well, be wary of him. Frankie is always at it and betting, so some of the hands that Frankie bet into on the turn and the river that other players folded, I know I would not be folding. Not because I've been watching this stream, but because I would have recognised him as a loose aggressive player, and when you've hit 2 pairs, that is often a winning hand. You've just got to back yourself and be strong and cool. And
when you stream, can you see the chat? So you can talk with all the people watching the stream?
You can do that on your phone, darling. Not here.
No.
So it's on Twitch, for those that aren't watching Twitch, Facebook Live.
It's on Twitch.
Yeah, it's on Twitch and Facebook Live, so you can have a look on your phone and check in.
Oh.
Okay. Back to the flip. We have 2 aces, a 7 and a 10. We now have 3 aces on board, so no one has an ace. A full house will win, but no one has a pair either. So this is the kind of board that an aggressive play will win, but there's only €100 in the pot. If you like, it's almost not worth going for. Someone will pick this up with a high hand, so King Queen wins. Very unusual there for the board to have a potential house and for no one to have a full house. So on the chip count, Wise Guy, who's really played very well, very impressive, is on 2.5k, and I didn't get to see the rest. Oy vey, as us Jewish people say. I'm trying to help you guys by saying, right, okay, we've got a chip count again. Thank you, guys. So Ilva, a solid 1.4k. She's moved up from 300. Very well. Frankie, his aggressive players brought him into over 1,000. Jason has only just sat down, so a very good profit from Jason. And Arvid is losing from his starting stack. I think we may be at the end, guys. I'm going to be signing off now. Looks like the session is finished. Nice profit for Jason and Wise Guy. Well played. Very well played, Ilva and Frankie. It was great to see how aggressive you are. And I'm just going to check with the guys. But I'm looking to close up now. And hopefully you will see me playing later. If not, have a lovely night. And come and see the festival in Bratislava next year or wherever it is. And it's been great sharing my rubbish with you. Bye bye.
Hey everybody, it's Jason. I have good news and I have got bad news. The good news is it's been a fantastic festival here in Bratislava at Banco Casino, a great way to launch things off. We appreciate you all being here. Special thanks to Banco Casino, everybody at a crowd, poker listings, and all the partners you see above like Pokio, Coolbet, The Gambling Cabin, Casino Room. Sorry for not being able to mention all of you, but you've all been fantastic throughout the series. You may have just seen me play, maybe it was a little punty, but I had a good time. You may have seen me do commentating. I had a blast working the festival, I had a blast playing a little bit too. I hope you had a blast though, watching everything all week long. Now on to the bad news. I have to say goodbye to you all because there won't be a late stream. I know you were promised one, and I extremely apologize that there won't be one. But the good news is that the festival is not going anywhere. It was a huge bang, 621 players in the main event alone. Tons of side events happening all the time, and that's not even including the blackjack tournament, the roulette tournament, the sports wagering competition, and every of the other fun activities happening all week long. Believe me, the festival series will be back, and not only will they be back, they will be better than ever before. Thank you all for tuning in. Much love to you all. This is Jason Glatzer. Peace.